Imagine stepping outside at night and looking up not at a black sky, but at colossal glowing bands stretching across the heavens. If Earth had rings like Saturn, our world would feel like a sci-fi movie brought to life. This isn't just a cosmetic change. A ring system would reshape our climates, redefine our cities, transform our skies, and even change space technology forever. In this video, we'll explore how giant ice and rock rings would illuminate entire nations, alter global temperatures, and make satellite networks nearly impossible to operate. Get ready to see our planet in a way you've never imagined. The first and most dramatic change would be the sky itself. Earth's rings would reflect massive amounts of sunlight, creating a permanent soft glow in many regions. Areas near the equator would experience the brightest views, with the rings forming a brilliant arch dominating the horizon. Night would never be fully dark. Cities like Singapore, Nairobi, and Quito would live under natural sky glow so bright that artificial lighting might be significantly reduced. Even remote deserts would shimmer at night. The rings would appear different depending on where you live. Near the poles, they'd stretch low across the horizon like a giant celestial bridge. Closer to the equator, the rings would tower overhead, sharp and luminous, casting faint shadows even at midnight. Seasonal changes would add more drama. As Earth tilts, the ring's brightness and angle would subtly shift, creating unique ring seasons unlike anything we know. And the view from airplanes? Unbelievable. Commercial flights would give passengers huge panoramic arcs of shimmering ice suspended thousands of kilometers above Earth. The rings wouldn't just be a feature of the sky, they'd become part of everyday life, influencing culture, architecture, and even nighttime activities. Humanity would grow up under a constantly glowing heaven. A ringed Earth would also mean a completely new climate system. Those beautiful bands would block sunlight in some regions while reflecting extra light into others. Areas directly underneath the densest parts of the ring system, mostly around the equator, would receive slightly less direct sunlight during certain parts of the year. That could cause cooler temperatures and milder seasons in tropical zones. Meanwhile, mid-latitude regions like the Mediterranean or parts of the United States might experience brighter skies due to reflected sunlight bouncing off the rings. That extra light could warm surface temperatures by a small but meaningful amount, altering weather patterns and potentially shifting rainfall zones. Crops might grow differently, monsoons might change timing, and ecosystems would adapt in unpredictable ways. Shadow bands cast by the rings could create thin, moving strips of lower solar radiation across the planet's subtle but measurable effects that climate scientists would spend decades studying. Even ocean temperatures could shift, reshaping wind systems and storm intensities. The polar regions, however, would remain the least affected due to their viewing angle. Still, long-term changes in global heat distribution could alter polar ice behavior. In short, Earth's climate would become more complex, more dynamic, and far less predictable. As breathtaking as a ringed sky would be, it would dramatically complicate modern technology, especially space operations. Earth's rings would be made of ice, dust, and chunks of rock constantly orbiting at high speed. That means placing satellites in low Earth orbit would become extremely dangerous. GPS satellites, communication systems, and weather satellites would have to avoid massive belts of debris traveling thousands of kilometers per hour. Mission planners could only use specific, safe corridors between ring gaps, assuming stable gaps exist at all. Many orbits we rely on today would be completely unusable. The International Space Station, for example, couldn't survive in a debris-filled ring environment. Even launching rockets would become harder, requiring careful timing and safer launch angles that avoid dangerous ring segments. Global internet networks, Earth observation satellites, and space-based navigation would need to be replaced by ground-based or high-altitude alternatives. Aviation would become more dependent on terrestrial radio systems. Space exploration would still exist, but leaving Earth would involve navigating through or around fast-moving debris, making space travel significantly more expensive and risky. Ironically, a ringed Earth would look more advanced and magical from the surface, yet be far more technologically limited beyond the atmosphere. If Earth had rings like Saturn, our world would feel awe-inspiring and surreal. Nights would glow with reflected sunlight, climates would shift in surprising ways, and our entire space infrastructure would need a complete redesign. Humanity would grow up under a sky that feels almost alien beautiful, bright, and constantly changing. But while the view would be extraordinary, the challenges would be just as transformative. This scenario reminds us how delicately balanced our planet truly is. If you enjoyed exploring this alternate Earth, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-bending science stories.